Navy, and of course I got the Caps and the Terps playing, and on Monday night I'm headed back up to Gillette Stadium, and the road I know so well, Route 1 in Foxborough. This guy knows the road there as well as all of the angles in the New England area. He covers not just the Patriots, but the Red Sox, the Bruins, the Celtics, a lot of championship teams. Kyle Hightower is the AP writer in Boston, and a lot of his work appears at WNST.net as well as in our morning newspaper as an AP writer. What's going on, Kyle? We got a little football game there on the Hill on Monday now, don't we?
Oh, no doubt. And it's going to be probably a little cold up here. Nice little cold football weather type of game. A little muggy. A little frosty and little misty. Good football weather.
Yeah, all sorts of things have happened up there in snowstorms and snow blowers and ice storms and rain. But one thing, the Ravens always play the Patriots tough, and not everyone goes to New England with the expectation of winning, right?
Oh, absolutely. And I think the Ravens have that style of play that really it lends itself to being able to contend with and beat the Patriots. That tough, just gritty type of football that kind of becomes the Ravens brand is something that the Patriots, sometimes a very much finesse team, a very offensive-minded team, has trouble with. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens.
I don't know if we're getting the best version of the Patriots on Monday, certainly with no Gronkowski, Jamie Collins being given away, some other injuries, some issues on the offensive line. But we might be seeing as good a version of Brady as any version of Brady, right? There has been no tarnish on anything with him. 19 TDs, 1 pick, and just a limited role here, missing the first 4 games. He's as good as he's ever been, right?
It's hard to argue that. I mean, he's been known as Tom Terrific. He may be Tom Timeless right now. I mean, 39 years old, what he's doing is kind of defying belief. This is exactly the age when you see guys of, skills are starting to diminish, the numbers are starting to go down. Guys he admires like Joe Montana, those are the guys. This is the time, the age when guys like that, fell off. And Tom Brady seems to be hitting the stride. And as you pointed out, granted, he did miss the first 4 games, but what he's done in the time he's been on the field this year has been unparalleled. His completion percentage, the touchdowns you mentioned, more propensity to go downfield with longer balls, and just command of his team. He's playing with a vengeance this year, and I think he's definitely a guy in the conversation, definitely for the MVP.
Most teams couldn't just deal away their star linebacker in the middle of the season and not have anyone blink. I know the whole story there has not been told, but it is a hell of a story. I mean, the Ravens have had a little tumult in their offense and threw the offensive coordinator out after the 4th week, but this is highly unusual to be giving away your best football players.
It is, and but you know what? It fits in with the MO of Bill Belichick. I mean, especially recently. Chandler Jones, the offseason, a guy you would think would be the Patriots look at extending and keeping around that defense. He was gone. Jamie Collins, easily probably the best athletic guy in that locker room. They dealt him away. So it's the Patriots they're really taking a gamble to see what they can get by with, and it may bite them late in the season. If they play these last 4 games and it's the playoffs, we'll see. But it's definitely kind of fit into the MO of what Belichick and what this front office has done. Nobody's above the brand, except maybe Brady. And, they're going to get by with, this, not a ragtag group, but kind of a mosh of guys, with no really big names on there.
Well, and one of the biggest names, obviously Gronkowski, changed everything about the way the game would be played on Monday night. Certainly from the Ravens' perspective, already bringing a very formidable defense, a formidable front 7 that stops the run, and now the number 1 weapon in their defense, the guy who could really hurt you in so many ways, won't be on the field on Monday night. That's good news for all of us in purple.
You would think so. I mean, and you throw in there, too. I mean, Gronk's out. Got Danny Amendola, who limped off the field and was seen on crutches after the game. He's questionable this week to see what happens with him. So it's a bad time to have some of your biggest pieces and obviously your biggest receiving piece in the offense missing. I expect the Ravens will exploit that, and as you pointed out, I mean, that offensive line has gotten better as the season's gone on, but they're still not, a stellar group. They're still vulnerable, and they've shown their vulnerability at times, trying to protect Brady and trying to have big dominant games. So I expect we're going to see the Ravens attack that group, take advantage of the fact that Rock's not on the field, and make Brady really use every skill that he has in his 39-year-old body to show that he still got it, to show that he can get by without his main gun.
No disrespect to these young guys, but I would think all the attention turns to Edelman now, right?
Oh, you would think so. I mean, he's one of those guys, kind of like the dynamic duo there, of Amendola and Edelman, for so many years recently. And now, a lot's definitely on his shoulders. He hasn't had a big breakout game yet. And, he's due for one of those. And with Amendola missing the other side of the field, you would think that, and Gronk missing, you would think that it does turn to him and say, hey, you're one of Brady's most dependable set of hands. It's time for you to have a big game.
Kyle Hightower covers all things football, baseball, basketball, hockey. He's the AP Boston sports writer. You can follow his journey out on Twitter at KHightower. And, of course, at WNST.net. Anytime AP stuff is posted out of the Patriots locker room, it generally comes from Kyle as well. And speaking of that locker room and that team and that franchise, obviously it is the gold standard, but the cheating, the murderers, the allegations, the videotape, all of that, this part of Ravens versus Patriots also plays into Deflategate, and how the last time they got together, Harbaugh took real umbrage with how Belichick was utilizing the officials and the rules, and rule changes came last spring as well. There's a little bit of friction between these franchises that maybe didn't exist, along with the respect that I think's always been there.
You may be onto something there, and you can always tell, at least about my time covering this franchise, that when there's that kind of stuff is lingering in the air, the same kind of comments come out of both Belichick and out of that locker room. Lots of platitudes, keeping lots of love on that team as if they're the best thing in the world. Never trying to show their hand if there is any animosity, if there is anything bubbled up, at the surface there that's, kind of underneath the rivalry, or underneath the game at hand. But there's definitely is a rivalry there. Not only because it's, what things you mentioned, but because, this Ravens team isn't scared of the Patriots. They've shown that, definitely in the last handful of meetings. And definitely a guy like Harbaugh is a guy who comes from a coaching pedigree, knows he can coach, knows he gets the best out of his guys. And Belichick's a guy who definitely isn't sure he can get the best out of his. So with these two guys and these two franchises to be on the field is definitely a lot there, a lot more than football. And again, it's something. It's a perfect media Monday night, and they got the game sold to themselves, and the day sold to themselves, and it's gonna be one to watch.
Kyle, now that we've gotten the JV out of the way, the NFL, let's get to something really important, the Red Sox. Look, man, we're Oriole fans around here. We know how screwed up our owner is and has been for 25 years. I've chronicled that to the point where he took my press credential a decade ago, a la president-elect incoming. This is what we're going to be used to now as journalists in America. But I would say this, the Red Sox have had a pretty good week, right? And it's not about winning the fan base over. It's about winning baseball games. And, this whole dealing away of Moncada earlier in the week and bringing in Sale and taking on the money and all that, yeah, the Red Sox can pay the freight on all that, but it's pretty clear they want to win, and they want to win more than press conferences at this point.
They do, and I add to that, they want to win now.
Now,
Dave Dombrowski has made, he kind of hinted at that when he came aboard, and he's followed through on that. I mean, they went out and got David Price. They went out there, they given this young core guys like Bradley, guys like Mookie Betts, really a platform to come in there and do what they do. And, like you said, the moves he made at the winter meeting, definitely yell at a guy and a franchise who is trying to maximize what they have now. They're, defending division champions last year. They really kind of laid an egg in the playoffs. Pitching wasn't there. So what do? Go out and get a guy, who's a Cy Young winner. And you put it right there in the mix with a guy who has potential with a Cy Young and Price. Another one, and a guy who just won one in Porcello, and you're looking at a guy in Sale who may be your third starter, coming off a Cy Young, so has a Cy Young. So it's amazing what Dombrowski's done. It's amazing what that franchise is going at. They're not satisfied. As you mentioned at the outset, this is a city that wants championships. They thrive on it. Baseball's got a taste of it again, in the last 15 years. So, hey, they want it. They want it now. They're going for it.
Hey, if the Cubs can win, anybody can win, right, Kyle?
You would think so. And, the Red Sox kind of set the stage for the Cubs to break their drought. All the droughts are over now. Now it's time to see if we can compile a bunch of championships. So,
well, it is interesting, too. Theo went off to Chicago and stayed hungry over there. Dombrowski hasn't won anything in a long, long time. I mean, all those years in Detroit never, really turned up. So as much as the winning sort of old hat around Boston and the expectations are high, he hasn't won anything.
Oh, you're right. And he absolutely puts himself in the crosshairs. All these moves are great on paper. They're great in the offseason. But if you don't produce, and if your teams don't produce come regular season time and come playoff time based on what you've given them, then, what's it for? So he's definitely put himself in the crosshairs. People are excited now, but that will sour very quickly in this town if it doesn't materialize. So, he laid it out there. As you mentioned, it's been a long time since he won something. He's itching to win. Maybe this is, the year for Dombrowski's drought to break, since we're in the drought-breaking season.
Well, he certainly won the winter meetings earlier this week here in Maryland, and hopefully on Monday night we'll see who wins. But, I've had happy rides and sad rides out of that parking lot, Kyle, the best and the worst. We'll see how Monday goes. The Ravens season on the line on Monday, if that means anything at all. Certainly for the Patriots, it's just another Monday night football game, right?
Oh, yeah, and, the Patriots like to say that, football begins after Thanksgiving. And it's all kind of lining up. But look, the Patriots have had a very favorable schedule this season. They have played a lot of guys, a lot of teams in a row that have had winning records and kind of had them spaced out. Their bye came at the perfect time, right in the middle of the season. They've been hit with some injuries. They've been kind of hitting at the right time. They're not really have faced kind of, had to face, the wrath of those injuries. So, it's a lot at stake for both teams, a lot going on, and, it's football time, it's football weather, get it on.
Kyle, we will see you on Monday night. Keep the clam chowder warm for me. I'm going to need it to warm up there, and it's going to be a long, long night up on Route 1, man. We'll see you on Monday night. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Have a bowl ready, man. Have a good one.
You got it. And those little crackers, too. I need some oyster crackers, too. Kyle Hightower, K Hightower, out on Twitter as well as at KyleHightower.com. He is the AP sports writer covering all of Boston sports. He's a busy man. The Celtics, the Patriots, the Red Sox, and the Bruins. Great to visit with him. You can visit with me anytime, anywhere in the Buy a Toyota Audio Vault 24 hours a day. Listen to our work. You can download the TuneIn Radio app. We do come in crystal clear from anywhere you are. The morning newspaper delivers to your email inbox at 7 a.m. each and every morning. That's powered up by our friends at Planet Fitness and PlanetFitness.com. Still $10 a month to get in the best shape of your life there. Any breaking news that happens between now and game time, injuries, updates, if the Orioles actually do something, you'll get it first in the WNST Tech Service. That is brought to you by Coons Ford of Security Boulevard. Dennis will be here on Thursday driving you home from 3 until 5 with the SSV on WNST. Ravens and Patriots will be on all the screens at Buffalo Wild Wings and Owings Mills on Monday night as we give away our best seat in the house. We'll have the friends of ours from Fully Loaded Transportation out there with the limousine, the $100 gift card. We give that away at halftime. We have a blazing wing eating challenge on halftime. So come see Peter on Monday night. He'll be at Buffalo Wild Wings in Owings Mills. I'll be in Foxborough on Monday. If you need me, nasty at WNST.net finds me. I am a very available individual. Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Snapchat, Instagram, and streaming live on our Facebook Live and our YouTube WNSTV channel. We are WNST.net, AM 1570 and WNST Towson, Baltimore, and we never stop talking Baltimore sports.